At 3:14 in the morning, a 110-pound Dogo Argentino named Zeus started barking outside a little girl's room. He had never barked at night before, not once. What her parents found on the other side of that door changed everything they thought they knew about this dog and about themselves. For 6 years, Rachel and Marcus opened their home to dogs that no one else wanted. Strays, rescues, fosters, dogs with scars, dogs with fears, dogs the shelter system had nearly given up on. They didn't do it for recognition. They did it because they believed every animal deserved to feel what a real home felt like, even just for a little while. Then Lily was born. And just like that, they stopped. It wasn't a dramatic decision. There was no argument, no tearful goodbye to their fostering days. It just happened, quietly, the way most life-changing choices do. A tiny baby in a house full of uncertainty felt like enough of a risk. Adding a large, unknown dog to that equation felt impossible. So they closed that chapter. No more fosters, no more rescues, just the three of them building their world around Lily. For 8 years, that's exactly what they did. Lily grew into the kind of kid who named every stray cat she saw from the car window, the kind of kid who asked for animal encyclopedias for her birthday and actually read them. Rachel always said Lily had been born with something extra in her chest, some deeper capacity for love that most people spend a lifetime trying to find. So when Marcus came home one Tuesday evening and told Rachel what he had seen at the rescue center near his office, the silence that followed said everything. A Dogo Argentino, white as fresh snow, male, roughly 110 pounds. He had been surrendered by his previous owner, who had moved and simply could not take him. No abuse history, no aggression on record, just a big, quiet dog sitting alone in a kennel, watching people walk by. "She looked at me," Marcus said, "just looked at me, like he was waiting for someone to finally stop." Rachel said no. Then she said maybe. Then she drove to the rescue center the next morning. Zeus didn't bark when she approached. He didn't jump. He simply stood up slowly, walked to the front of the kennel, and pressed his massive white head against the metal bars. Rachel stood there for a long moment. Then she called Marcus. "We're fostering him, temporarily." Marcus knew what temporarily meant with Rachel. They brought Zeus home on a Thursday afternoon. Lily was at school. The plan was to introduce them slowly, carefully, with every precaution. Rachel had spent the night before reading articles, watching videos, preparing herself for every possible scenario. None of that preparation covered what actually happened. When Lily walked through the front door that afternoon and saw a 110-pound white dog sitting in the living room like he owned the place, she stopped. Zeus stopped. 8 years old and 4 years old in dog years, they sized each other up across the hallway. Then Lily sat down cross-legged on the floor, opened her arms, and said simply, "Hi." Zeus crossed the room in 4 strides and put his head in her lap. Rachel cried in the kitchen so they wouldn't see her. The first week, Rachel kept careful watch, every interaction, every moment, every breath. But Zeus moved through their home like he had always lived there. Gentle in a way that seemed almost deliberate, like he understood the rules without being told. He never jumped on Lily, never knocked her over. When she ran, he walked beside her. When she laughed too loud, his tail wagged once, slowly, like a quiet approval. By the end of the second week, Zeus had claimed exactly 3 things in the house: the left side of the couch, Marcus's spot at the dinner table when he got up to refill his glass, and the hallway directly outside Lily's bedroom door. Every single night, without exception, Zeus lay down at the threshold of her room, not inside, not on her bed, just outside the door, watching, waiting, present. Rachel noticed it on the 3rd night. By the 5th night, she stopped trying to understand it and simply accepted it as fact. I see you're still here, but you haven't subscribed yet. Honestly, that means a lot to me, but the subscribe button would mean even more. Hit it. You won't regret what comes next. 3 weeks into the foster period, a family reached out through the rescue center. A couple, no children, a big yard, experience with large breeds. On paper, they were the perfect match for Zeus. The rescue coordinator called Rachel on a Wednesday morning. Rachel didn't tell Lily, not yet. That Saturday came faster than Rachel wanted. It was the night before the potential adopters were scheduled to visit. Lily had gone to bed early, complaining of a headache. Zeus, as always, took his place at her door. Marcus and Rachel stayed up late, talking in low voices about what to say to Lily in the morning. They had no good answer. At 3:14 in the morning, Zeus barked. Not his usual low, rumbling presence. This was sharp, urgent, repeated. Marcus was up before Rachel. He ran to the hallway and found Zeus standing at Lily's door, no longer lying down, body rigid, eyes locked on the room. Marcus pushed the door open. Lily was burning with fever. Her lips were dry. She was half awake, confused, calling for water in a voice too small for the room. Her temperature was 104.2. They got her to the emergency room within 20 minutes. A severe infection, the doctor said. Another few hours, and it could have been significantly worse. In the waiting room at 4 a.m., Marcus sat with his elbows on his knees and thought about a dog lying outside a little girl's door every single night for 3 weeks. Not because anyone told him to, not because he was trained to, because somehow, in whatever way dogs understand the world, Zeus had decided that door was his responsibility. Some stories are too important to keep to yourself. If this one is finding you at the right moment, you already know what to do with it. Lily came home 2 days later, pale and tired but smiling. Zeus was waiting at the front door. He didn't jump. He pressed his head against her stomach and stood very still while she wrapped both arms around his neck. The family came to see Zeus that Sunday as planned. Rachel had not canceled the visit. She didn't know how to explain what had happened without sounding like she was making excuses, so she let them come. Let them meet Zeus in the living room, let them ask their questions, let them talk about their yard and their experience with large breeds. Lily sat on the stairs the entire time, saying nothing. When the couple stood up to leave and said they'd love to move forward with the adoption, the room went quiet. And then Lily started to cry. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, the way children cry when something feels truly unfair. She looked at Rachel, not with anger, but with something heavier. "Please, Mom," she whispered. He knew. He was the one who knew. Rachel looked at Marcus. Marcus looked at Zeus. Zeus looked at Lily. The couple left without Zeus. The adoption papers were signed 2 weeks later. Not a foster agreement, a permanent one. Zeus officially became a member of the family, and Lily officially became the happiest 8-year-old in the state. Today, Zeus still sleeps at the threshold of Lily's door every single night. Not because Rachel asks him to, not because Marcus trained him to, because that is simply who Zeus is. A 110-pound white dog who picked a little girl long before anyone thought to ask his opinion. Some dogs find their families, some families find their dogs, and some stories, like this one, remind us that maybe the choosing happens long before we realize it. If you're thinking about fostering or adopting, please take the time to learn, to prepare, and to be patient. These animals carry more love than most people will ever understand. They just need someone willing to stop long enough to see it. Did Zeus choose Lily, or did Lily choose Zeus? Tell me what you think in the comments.